Welcome to Marketing Matters with Art of Strategy.
Welcome back to Marketing Matters. I'm Tina Winslow, the CEO and owner of Art of Strategy, and I have Brooke Dieterlen with me today. Lucky me. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, sure. Yeah. Brooke Dieterlen here with Art of Strategy Consulting. I'm managing partner and CRO, so Chief Revenue Officer for those that are wondering. But yeah, we're here today to talk about marketing.
That's right, because marketing matters.
It does. Marketing always matters.
So what we wanted to talk about today was marketing for professional services.
Yes.
So what does professional services entail, Brookie?
I know, it's a lot. It's a lot. It can range from attorneys. It can go to CPAs. Any professional that provides a service that they've been educated on, and it can be B2B, it can be B2C. Really any, like my dad is a dentist, he is a professional service provider, and it's a lot of referral based.
Yeah, I was going to say that. When we talk to attorneys specifically, and I know that it's happened we have some financial educators
Yes.
that are in our cadre of clients,
Mm-hmm.
but they say things like, I get all my leads from referrals.
Right.
Like,
How does that work?
how's that work?
Yeah. Well, nowadays, not that great unless you have everyone in your sphere of influence that provides enough opportunity for you to gain more clients on the regular. A lot of people that do buy referrals will do networking, will go to special events, will, sometimes cold call, but they just rely on people coming to them, which nowadays everyone goes to the internet, everyone uses a search engine, everyone enters keywords to try to find the person that they are desiring to see or gain services from. And it's a game changer. Marketing matters.
Yeah, like I was going to say that basically referral-based work would be hard to do a growth plan, to be able
Exactly.
to not schedule out your leads, but to be able to say, I predict X amount of income coming in if you're just waiting for people to kind of ring your doorbell.
Absolutely. And, everyone goes through some dry spells. Can you ever really have enough clients? You want to build up your client list or portfolio with those that help you grow your revenue. You need to go after your ideal persona or targeted persona or who your desired client should be. And the only way to reach them, a good solid way, is through a website, first of all. But having a website, that is kind of the eyes to the world. That's where it's a portal where people are seeking your services, and they can connect directly with you, whether it's by a call to action on the website or call us, here's my phone number, or email us your information. You can get them to sign off, what services they're specifically looking for, so it can be a targeted call. Right. And you'll know exactly what to talk about with them. But what I've noticed is since my brother bought my dad's business, which was strictly by referral, it was obviously a good business, of course.
We should put context around it. Your dad's dentist practice was in the 70s, 80s, 90s, right?
Right.
Prior to the internet hitting the scene. So
Exactly.
He probably had to do some old school marketing.
He did.
Did he do any marketing?
He didn't do any marketing. He did not. He was with a couple of partners that through their spheres of influence, they were able to maintain, a great business, a solid business that was able to make a profit. But the care for their patients and all that, that mattered. And by the word of mouth, and that used to be that way because there wasn't the internet and reviews. Hello.
Right.
Reviews will get you, good or bad. But, now that there's reviews and people are talking to each other and sharing their experiences, a customer's experience from the point of contact really is going to tell them if they want to do business with you. And so
a digital review is basically, or a review is a digital word of mouth kind of
Exactly.
experience. But didn't your brother take over the practice?
He
And
did.
What happened then?
It's interesting because he is obviously much younger, and he came in with kind of fresh eyes and knowing kind of what the landscape looked around about, the internet, how people were utilizing it, and how best to get the word out about his practice. And, it was interesting because as soon as he did some marketing, he started winning awards. He started getting recognized by the local newspapers. He was voted the best dentist for 5 years in a row. And so he was able to gain a lot of traction.
Growth.
And, oh, my gosh, he grew his business. And people, as they age, they will no longer then need services.
Right.
They'll pass. And so you've got the fresh people out there that are looking for services. And so how do you get in front of them?
How do you find, the internet is the digital billboard, right?
Exactly.
The word of mouth. So I know for attorneys, when we talk about attorneys, that over 90% of work or, coming into attorneys is through the internet, and it's through a Google search. But even more important than search is that it's for a generic term.
Right.
So what happens a lot, at least in the SEO world, is in a phase one sort of approach, you will rank for your own name, right?
Right.
Your own business name,
Of course.
your name.
If they're looking for you by name specifically, it's not an issue.
Right.
But if they don't know your name,
right.
it's a huge issue.
They go generic.
Right.
And a generic for, a Dallas legal expert in bankruptcy, or that would be a long tail keyword, but
Right.
It's generic. And so
Absolutely.
how do you start working your way
Differentiating.
into the generic? If there's 30,000 generic, for an attorney, I think we said there was over 40,000 attorneys in the Metroplex.
Yeah, there's competition galore. I mean, it just, you're up against so many that do the same services. And, it gets down to not only customer service, but brand awareness is, when you mention keywords, how are you differentiating yourself from your competitors?
Right.
And, many of them ask, well, how do I know? I mean, how do I know what my competitors are doing? Well, we can do an analysis and give them a snapshot of what others in their same service providing world or industry are doing to achieve their degree of success. What we've noticed is a custom strategy using the targeted persona specifically for that person and what type of client they want.
Right.
Okay? You don't want to just have every
You don't
Tom,
wanna,
Dick, and
have
Harry off
spaghetti
the street.
hitting the wall,
Exactly.
yeah.
You don't want the worst client ever to walk through that door and say, hey, yeah, I just thought I'd stop in and I like to become a client. And they're a mess to deal with. You actually can go after people that you desire, and you can do it very effectively through an effective marketing campaign and reach goals. Another thing is on referrals. When let's say law firms or professional service providers, they're trying to open up a new location or a satellite location, and let's say it's in a different state. It's not one that they've maybe have come from or, came from. They didn't grow up in it. They don't have a sphere of influence. It's already established in
Right.
those new areas, whether it's a state or a city or whatever it may be, but they all contain different types of folks.
in the days with print advertising, when you printed something, it was dead the minute that it got printed.
Right.
So if you wanted to highlight a new service offering or a new location or something, you had to start from scratch. But with the internet, you can be a little predictive about where you want to go.
Absolutely.
And if you do the strategy right, you can say, this is what I'm doing with my clients now, but I want to be doing X. So like I'm in bankruptcy, but I want to move into contracts or some other part of law that you want to go into. And when you do that, you can predictively do that with the internet and then say, we do this, and then start building up your rankings around that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's things that they can do, and it'll show them through the analytics what it's doing for them. And so if they are partnered up with the right marketing agency, Art of Strategy Consulting, then we would provide a dashboard, analytics, so they could review at any time what their account is doing, what their campaign is doing. If they want to adjust that campaign specifically, just tweak it a little to seek further desired results. We can do that as a company, and that's what we set ourselves up for, is customization to ensure they reach their goals, that they're successful, which makes us successful too. So, I think it's...
Well, and that's kind of what we do with our strategies anyways. If you have a set it and forget it kind of attitude, we're not a great match.
Nope.
Because we're always evaluating the analytics and the measurements, and are we hitting the goal? And if we're not, we adjust, and we adjust quickly. We're not, we're not of the ilk that we're going to throw good money after bad. We're going to be like, hey, this isn't right where we want to be, but we're going to tweak it to get right where we want to be.
Absolutely. And many agencies, especially the larger agencies that take on, like, I hate to say it, but like fine law. These larger agencies, are going in and they have kind of a predefined package of what they're doing for all the other attorneys that are their clients, which they have a lot. So they and their competition are doing all the same things. So, how effective can that really be? And do they abruptly pivot a campaign if necessary to gain the desired results? And
I can tell you that's a big no.
I know.
I have worked alongside them, the bigger agencies, when we're working on a client that has different components, and it's frustrating to see, because it's almost like they plan on having people not call them on results. So they'll blank out results and they'll say, your engagements were XYZ. And that's like in the magazine world, when they would say, like, what is our expected ROI? They would say, well, we're going to expose you to 130,000 people. And I'm
Laughable.
like, well, how many does that actually equal? And
how many turned clients?
Yeah, how many?
I want to know the money. Money. Where did that result in money for our clients? And for the larger agencies, they just don't care.
They don't.
You have your budget. You have your goals. They're hired to just try to do some stuff for you, and it doesn't really matter if they're successful or not. If you don't like what your results are with those larger agencies, you're going to have to move on to someone that does care. And that's what's so great about you as the owner. And you've been a business owner for so many years. You get, and marketing, of course.
Right.
You have stayed up with the trends. You've stayed up with the technology. You've stayed up with the different software programs and platforms that can engage not only our clients in our process, but also evaluate every step of the way and ensure that we are going to maximize your campaigns. And, what we're seeing internally is some of our professional service providers and attorneys almost coming back to us and saying, okay, I like this. I want to do more.
Right.
And they're finding out that it's not just referral. It's got to be there's got to be some static foundational marketing
You have to get some
efforts.
blood in the water.
Absolutely.
You have to, that sounds really, base, but you have to get some chum to get the fish and the sharks to come see you. And
Exactly.
if you don't have that, then basically you are working from a bet.
Exactly.
And no one likes to work from a bet. Like I'm betting that I'm going to get this amount of work, but knowing that you're going to get that amount of work is better. And a pipeline is 1,000 times better than a word of mouth hope.
Yeah, exactly. I also think that from our perspective as a smaller boutique agency that can handle large companies, law firms, things like that, national law firms, et cetera. It's interesting because our approach has actually been more of relationship development with our clients because we are so personally invested in their success. So how they want to come across, things about their personality that need to come through and shine so they attract the right clients for them.
Right.
But also the right clients that can not only afford that service, but want to be a partner and move forward with you. I don't know how many times you and I have discussed some of the clients that we've had of past. And sometimes they're not a good fit for us. And so
Right.
you have been a very excellent leader in saying, you've evaluated, I think we need to let this client go. And that's bold. That's bold. Not many agencies would do that. But I think that your commitment to your people, the culture that you're building around this company, Artist Strategy Consulting, has a lot to say about you because your commitment is full circle. It is to help others grow their businesses.
Right.
Through, yes, our marketing strategies, but also it's to help see that there is bigger dreams and goals that can be achieved
Right.
with proper partnerships.
And I think that is the key is that it's a partnership. I am invested, we all are invested in what that goal is for the client. And very rarely is a goal for a client going to equal XYZ dollars. It's going to equal growth in clients, this type of clients, these kind of relationships, awareness. There's a lot of different ways you can go. And, if it was just numbers, I think it would be a cold place. I'm a data nerd. So yeah, I do like the numbers, but that's mainly so I can come back and advise in a correct manner and not just be like, hey, we got you X amount of engagements. I hope that got you work.
Yeah.
Like we need to
We're
look
not
at
hopers.
we're
doers.
We're doers. Yeah. We need to have the conversion rate and
Right.
look at that kind of thing. But and that's search engine optimization a lot of times for professional services lends itself to that. So that you can go in and say, we put X in place, we put this campaign in place, we're doing this email newsletter, we're doing this social media campaign, and we're doing a revision on this section of the website. Do those things equal the kind of clients you want to get? And if we can say at the end of the day they do, then that's what we did we did our job right.
Yes, and we're constantly evaluating. I mean, we're constantly hearing back feedback from our clients, which is great. Whether it's positive or an adjustment to a campaign, we want to hear from them. We want them involved. It's their business.
Yeah.
So I mean, we want them to be engaged and know what's succeeding and what's successful and what hasn't worked, so they can utilize that information going forward as things change. They're ever changing.
Right.
So the landscape with COVID and other things shut down. We have restaurant clients that we had just opened before COVID.
Right.
And
pivot.
Yeah, exactly. It was a major pivot.
It was like the friends around the corner pivot.
It was. Oh my gosh. It kept us on our toes for sure. But it was great that we could move at that pace with the customer or the client in that current environment and then see them out of that same transition and help them through that. They're still in business. Woo!
Yes.
So I think we've been successful.
Yeah, they're about to have their 4th year anniversary.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So, we're doing something right. I love that you bring as the owner, passion and your heart is in it, and you want your business to grow. Of course, you have your goals and dreams, and we actually have passion behind those as well, because it's growth for us. But I think the passion that you bring into the client world, that they know that the owner of the agency that has just accepted a proposal signed by the client gets actively engaged, gets to know the client deeply, and then we build from there. And I think I don't know many agencies that will put their owner at a table with every new client.
Well, I feel like there are a couple things that I stand on, and one is that it needs to be, and you alluded to it, it needs to be a good fit for both sides.
Yeah.
If it's not a win-win, we kindly walk away.
Yeah.
Like, we never want to burn a bridge. We never do it out of ugliness. But if it's not a win-win for both of us, then we have to say, we just think that there's other ways we can go, and this is going to be one.
Right.
And the other is that I feel very strongly that my team are people that I want to work with and that I want to grow with. And so it never ceases to amaze me that when you empower people, they empower themselves back.
It's incredible what you do for the employees. I mean, of course I'm employed, and I have to say that in front of you because I don't want to get fired. But I think the leadership that you've provided makes us very unique as an agency, and we understand the actual client woes, turnaround times, and the stress that they endure when something is amiss. We are able to take on that pressure because we are a partner. We understand the critical nature of those things and how to pivot. Pivot's the word for the day. Pivot with that client to get their desired results,
Right.
or beat them.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Of course, we're going to go for beating him every time.
We're going for beating. Beating is
Yeah.
good. That's the only time you'll hear that. Beating is good.
Yeah. So, but I think another point is that you brought up that they're going to find these people, and let's say these professional service providers that say that they only do referrals. You have so many other ways to actually step out in front of your sales efforts by attracting them to your site,
Right.
engaging them on your site, and then winning them with your website. I've talked to law firms and other professional service providers that say, I don't even have a website. I go by word of mouth, and I just cringe because their competition is,
Yes.
and they're going to get leaps and bounds ahead, and brand awareness, and there's all so many issues, the keywords that could be out there on the Google My Profile, and or My Business. I think that there's such missed opportunity for those that are of the belief that word of mouth or referral is the only way to go.
Well, and I have a statistic that would kind of help with that. And, I think that the current information out there is that 74% of the people that are looking for professional services do it through an internet search. So that leaves only 25% that is word of mouth, or like ask a friend and that kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you get leads that way, more power to you. But I think you need to augment what you're doing with some strategic thought.
Absolutely.
Around marketing.
Well, and where do they want to be? I mean, you as a business owner, you and I have discussed, managing partner, so you and I have discussed at length where we want satellite offices, where we want to grow into, how many do we want, how do we envision this? We have our own goals to get to. And I know that there are small businesses that probably maybe can't even see that far in front of them. But if they visualized developing some kind kind of website that does the attract, engage, and win process, calls to actions everywhere. Make it super simple for the person
And
seeking services.
Sticky for Google. Make it sticky for Google.
Sticky for Google. They forget about this.
Right.
They don't even know about this most of the times. And they think, well, I think what we're doing is fine. It seems to be working. And they're missing out. They're totally missing out. Ranking, keywords, being identifiable on a search, locations, adding location pages to websites.
Right.
That's interesting. People don't think about that.
Right. Well, and we'll end on this because we have gone on quite a bit, but location pages on your site are crucial because if you want to rank in the Google map, you need to have locations, because if not, you will only rank, if you're lucky, in your area. I have
Right.
tools that show like the further out you go, the less you're going to rank, especially with Google Maps and Google Business Profile, because they're trying to geolocate for people.
Right.
So make sure you have location pages.
Yeah, simple things like that. Artist Strategy Consulting wants to help you maximize your brand awareness, and we want to attract, engage, and win clients for you.
Thank you for being with us today, everyone. And we did want to mention that we have a networking event coming up July 11th. Tuesday. You can go to northtexasnetworking.com.
Yep.
And register there. But we hope to see you in person. And if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, if you're not, you can just always reach out to us via our website at artofstrategyconsulting.com.